Hey there, Alex from Green Stand Market here, and today we made some mini fruit galettes. These are essentially like a pie crust with a nice fruit filling. I'm pretty new to making pie crusts, and so this was a way to kind of dip my toe into the world of making pies. And we're going to go ahead and just make the pie crust. The key with pie crust is going to be temperature. And so it uses a lot of the kind of normal ingredients like flour, salt, butter, vegetable shortening. But the key here is that this butter is actually, I put it in the freezer overnight. And then I also just left it in the fridge for kind of a few hours before I actually made this pie crust. And then also same with the vegetable shortening that we're adding here. And so this water that I'm adding ice to, so when we go ahead and add some of the moisture to this flour, butter, and vegetable shortening, we just want to make sure that that water is going to be ice cold so that we're not melting any of the butter. And then that way we kind of get those like really flaky crust and it doesn't just blend into the flour. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. I just want it to be a kind of a nice shag mix, and so that's what we have here. And then we'll go ahead and roll this into some balls. And again, temperature. I'm going to go ahead and form some of these balls. I'm trying to not touch it too much. I am definitely touching with my hands, but I'm also trying to cool my fingers down a bit just so that the overall mixture doesn't get too hot. And then I'm going to form a nice little ball. I'm going to go ahead and cut it into twos here. And then you can really see the butter that is still chunked in there. It's not totally mixed. There's a lot of layers of butter that are still in there. And then we'll go ahead and throw these back into the fridge to cool a little bit more. And this is our plastic wrap dispenser as well as our biodegradable plastic wrap. This is what we do sell at Green Stand Market. We worked really hard to make this plastic wrap biodegradable so you can toss it right in your trash and it degrades to pretty much water and nothing else in just a few months. It's also third-party certified, so you don't have to take our word for it, but we got it independently tested, so you can check out that on greensandmarket.com. We went ahead and left those pie dough balls in the refrigerator for 2 hours. It's kind of a minimum of 2 hours up until about 5 days. Again, the whole purpose is just to cool that dough down so that we kind of make sure that butter doesn't melt. And now we're going to start to cut out the actual pie crust that we'll go ahead and fill the galette with. Again, this was my very first time making these galettes. I just really wanted to get an intro into pie crust. And so the recipe says it'll make 5. When I went ahead and cut out the dough here, it looked like it was only going to make about 2. So I started to realize, all right, I probably cut this way too thick, and so I adjusted this a little bit, and this thinness is exactly what you're looking for. It's really not too thick, not too thin, and so I chopped up the first ball. Here's the second ball. I wanted to go ahead and cut to this clip just because, again, a little bit of a learning curve on the first ball of dough. I definitely recommend to go ahead and create your individual balls of dough that you're going to roll into that galette pie crust, because again, if the key thing here was to keep the temperature down, rolling and mashing the pie crust back together, rolling it out, mashing it back together, it just made it a lot hotter. So these came out really nice. They were super thin and way less back and forth. And then now we're going to just make the filling. I went ahead and chose to do a strawberry filling as well as a apple filling. I just figured apple pie, a little bit of strawberry pie sounded pretty good. It's pretty simple. It's just strawberry, sugar, and cornstarch. We're going to mix this all together. That cornstarch really helps to kind of take the liquid out of the strawberries. On a pie, you really don't want too much extra liquid splashing around that pie crust because it'll make it a little bit tougher to bake and you get a little bit more of a soggy bottom, as they say in the Great British Baking Show. And so, yeah, we're just chopping up some apples. I went ahead and sliced up those strawberries. I'm going to try to slice these relatively thin. I think if I was going to do this again, though, I would go ahead and dice up the apples. Apple pie is a little bit tricky, is because these apples kind of need to cook in order to really get that soft texture. And so, again, if I were to do this again, I would just dice up the apples a little bit more. Again, same thing here, though. You're just going to add sugar, a little bit of cornstarch, and then I also went ahead and added some cinnamon so I could make it a nice apple cinnamon pie. And we'll go ahead and fill these little pie crusts on up. So I'm trying to arrange this into, I know I need to get it into a circle, and so I'm trying to make a little mini circle into these galettes, and then we're going to go ahead and just tuck these guys right to sleep. So I'm just folding in each little edge, kind of trying to crimp it a little bit and make sure it stays sealed. And we're just going to go around and make a nice little hexagon there, pentagon. And after that, we'll go ahead and add some milk to it. The milk just really helps to get the browning on the outside. I think I went a little too overboard on the milk, but hey, again, first time making these galettes, and I realized, okay, maybe not so much milk, so I'm going to go ahead and clean that on up. And then probably everybody's favorite part here, some turbinado sugar. It's a really coarse and crunchy sugar, and adds a little bit more texture to the pastry. And we'll go ahead and use that for both of them. And then again, just filling the strawberry filling here. The main thing that kind of you want to look for is to not add too much liquid. The cornstarch definitely helps take it out, but I went ahead and just was extra cautious and wanted to use a napkin, get some of that liquid out of here, and then we're just going ahead and tuck these little bad boys to sleep. I did realize I probably filled this guy a little bit too much, and we'll go ahead and just pull a couple of those strawberries out. And I think these look way prettier. The apple ones are cool, but these strawberry ones, I think Martha Stewart would definitely approve of how beautiful they look. And then we'll go ahead and bathe these bad boys on down with some milk. Again, just looking to get that nice brown texture. And then go ahead and add some turbinado sugar to them as well. But I went ahead and threw them in the oven for about 25 to 28 minutes. And here's the grand reveal. I think they came out a lot better than I anticipated. This pie crust really turns out pretty brown. They're not falling apart. The structure was pretty good. And then once you kind of cut into it, you can really see, again, no soggy bottom. From the Great British Baking Show, absolutely no soggy bottom. It's very thoroughly cooked all the way through on the strawberry guys. And then these apple ones did pretty good as well. Again, I would probably just dice these up a little bit more, the apples, but I'll definitely make these again. And please check out the website. We have the full recipe here and kind of each ingredient that's included.